In the shadow of decay I rise, typhus the herald beneath poison skies. With nobles rot I lay walls to waste, the reaper's scythe no life can escape. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with the twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of Death Guard where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In nobles name I spread death with ease. Vessels walk with me hand in hand, rivers of filth drown the land. I am typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. Crumbles to dust. Wherever I tread, rot consumes the just. Space hulks reek of a foul rebirth, carriers of plague across the cursed earth. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of Death Guard where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In nobles name I spread death with ease. Vessels walk with me hand in hand, rivers of filth drown the land. I am typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. The Imperium's light crumbles to dust. Wherever I tread, rot consumes the just. Space hulks reek of a foul rebirth, carriers of plague across the cursed earth. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of Death Guard where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In nobles name I spread death with ease. Vessels walk with me hand in hand, rivers of filth drown the land. I am typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. Playlist howl, the gassing walls, the vigilant tides, new light is born. Knuckles piercing, a twisted place, like you race of God in my cold embrace. Fear the plague fleet, fear the end. No salvation, no let to defend. I am typhus, reaper of dread. Bow to Nurgle, embrace the dead.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Discussingly Resilient podcast. How is everybody doing today? It's good to see everybody here at another episode where we're going to continue our Codex review. Turns out that the 2 hours, that we had 2.5 hours that we had last time, it wasn't actually enough to get through it. So today we're going to go through all the detachments, as many detachments as we can, give you our opinion on them, and obviously we'll probably talk a bit about how we rate them against each other. I'm not going to do the tier list today because I know our awards did one today and I don't just like we're just copy pasting content, even though I do disagree with our tier list.
I think it'll be different, yeah.
Yeah, I do think it will be different, but let's we'll stick to our sort of like more deeper analysis and not just be like, here goes on tier. So we'll do that today. But hello to Mr. Will and hello to Mr. Death Guard Dave. Mr. William, how have you been? Also, by the way, chat, you may not know this, but William, although it wasn't with Death Guard, actually won a teams tournament recently. So congratulations, William.
Yeah, he kept that quiet.
There you go. Not on my own, obviously. I was with Team Stormhammer, but yeah.
He was putting on a different moustache and a pair of glasses and then playing the next round.
Yeah, I was just playing on every table, just a different disguise. That's how good I am, guys. There you go. No, yeah, it was good. Stormhammer did put a good showing in. To be honest, we didn't even have what would be the Stonehammer A team at the moment. So yeah, it was a really good show. And we've got some guys on the team. Well, to be honest with you, we talk about the A team. I might be one of the people who slips off the bottom at the moment. We've got guys who are like smashing 4-1s and like 5-0s, and yeah, we've got 2 or 3 guys who are like their ELO is insane. So like I say, it's not that I'm underperforming. We've got some guys who are really overachieving at the moment. So yeah, we didn't mention it previously, but Stonehammer came first at a team tournament. There you go.
Well done.
Yeah. So how did you guys get on anyway? How have you been doing, Dave? You know, what have you been up to? Have you had any games with the new Codex yet?
No, first game. So I was really hoping that immediately that Friday night I was going to, but then it was the game of Crusade, so I did a short up about that. It was really good. 3,000 points. Played one of my one of the club mates, and it was Dark Angels or Death Guard Juniors, as I always call them, because they're the same colours and they're basically chaos. And he basically it was a weird rule thing where the longer the game went, more and more bad things happened to you as players because of the state of the Crusade. Like round 1 was like -1 to hit in melee and shooting. Round 2 was on top of that. If you were in the open, you were -1 toughness. The TO wouldn't let me stack it with my -1s, which was annoying. Anyway, regardless, so we just basically went at it, and he put everything out, shot a load of my stuff, did no damage at all, killed 1 great unclean one. I had 2. I shot back with the Porphyrion, hollowed out his Crusader with 69 damage on 1 shot with it, and then it all went a bit downhill from there. I managed to stay above keep my hits going and do it. So I played a Crusade game, but this Friday I've got my first game with the boys, and of course I'm going to be playing Deathlord's Chosen.
Nice, excellent choice. So very quickly, let's just catch up on the chat and see how everyone's doing. So we've already got, before the stream began, Lazy DM coming in with the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much for the gifted memberships, mate. And again, if you... So very quickly, sorry.
The Halo again.
We've got to get the legal stuff, not legal stuff, but like admin stuff out of the way. So if you do enjoy the content or you just got gifted a membership and you want to join our Discord, it's £3 a month. But again, we won't ever kick you out. You pay once, you're in. But once you've become a member or been gifted a member, if you're one of the lucky few that just got some from Lazy then you go to our YouTube channel homepage, go to our post tab. It used to be called community, but they've renamed it to Complete Post now.
Post now.
And I put a fresh link up there to the Discord that the members can see. Click that, get yourself in there, and then just make sure you link on your Discord, in your settings and connections, link your Discord to your YouTube, and it'll unlock the full server for you, and you can all giveaways and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but thank you very much. So consider becoming a member. Part of that, just a like and a subscribe would also be awesome. That would really help us out. It's surprisingly helpful to click that little like button, more than you would actually imagine. So
yeah, and leave a comment as well.
Yeah, but also click the bell notification icon as well, because then it will tell you when our videos are coming out on here. If you're not in the Discord at that time, or if you're just kind of at the moment, watching on here, that also really helps the channel out as well. So do click that as well. If you're already a member and you haven't done that, please do.
Excellent.
Yeah, and also
go on. Sorry, go with.
No, I was just say follow on from that. We've been saying it a lot on the videos recently, because obviously Death Guard are the hotness at the moment. They're all over the place. All the other channels are covering them.
Been the hotness.
Well, we've always been the hotness for us, but the rest of the community are finally realising that the community of non-Death Guard players is, and I'm sure there's a sudden surge of new Death Guard players. So 100%. Guys, we are Death Guard all the time. This isn't like we're not just dipping our tongue. This isn't for us just like a flash in the pan. We are your one-stop Death Guard. Stop. There you go. That didn't quite work. But
24/7. We never close. Christmas Day.
Yeah. So like and subscribe, as Aiden said. If you've just bought the army, you're picking up the army, you're getting into the army. Even if the army's going to become bigger in the meta, and you want to know how to sort of play into the army, this is the place to get that information. So as Aiden said, like, subscribe, join the Discord, because like I said, this isn't a sort of like a passing thing. When it was D for Death Guard tier, we were rocking this all the time, so we're not chasing the meta to join Death Guard. We were, through the highs and lows. This is a Death Guard channel, so please bear that in mind when you're liking, subscribing. If you've just bought the army, just discovered us, and you want to get more involved, this is the channel to do it, basically. So yeah, before we go in, I just thought I'd add that in there.
That was a good point, Will.
Yeah, and as always for tonight, as we go through the detachments, we have our bingo card. If you've got your bingo card at home, feel free to play along. These are our predictions for the Codex. As you can see, we've already ticked a lot off from the unit data slates, so we'll go through them. I'm just going to quickly finish off the super chats, and then we will get straight into the detachments. So we've got Don who's... Oh, go on.
Before you do that, one minute housekeeping. The bingo card, by the way, because some people watch it for the first time, on a previous pre-codex thing, we made a card of things that we expected to be in the codex. Some of it silly, some of it not. So we're ticking off like, were our predictions accurate or not accurate? So just for people who join that, just they've got the context of what we're talking about.
Yeah,
but yeah, let's get them super chats.
Sorry, I just enjoyed the. Sorry, Gareth in comment just went. I don't think I've ever seen you guys talk about how to beat Death Guard. What we're saying is if you watch the channel and you're smart, you can infer how to beat Death Guard.
Yeah. So then we've got $7.77 from Don Houston. Hammer of Don versus Aiden's Cock Gwen. That is a strange name for a porno, Don, but we'll keep that between us. But I actually, if we do play Don, I will actually probably be playing Virulent Victorium, because that's actually my personal favourite over Champions of Contagion, even though I do really like Champions of Contagion as well. But thank you very much for the super chat. We'll get it sorted, mate. I need to get some more games in. Unfortunately, making all the videos for the channel is taking pretty much all my time at the moment. So I need to get some games in. So we will do it. Taj, thank you very much as well for the one gifted membership, mate. Super appreciate it, as well as Laser Chicken there. Thank you so much for the support,
Thanks,
guys. Mr. Daz, does it say Daz there? We got Mr. Just scroll down. Mr. Dazza0187. Thank you very much for coming to Plague Green, mate. Again, make sure you get yourself in the Discord. Thank you so much. Steve Garrison, also with the 5 gifted memberships. Good Lord, you guys are gracious tonight. Thank you so much again. Really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you get used to it. And obviously, if you got gifted one, please make sure to say thank you, if possible, to the individual that gifted it to you, because it is a nice little treat. And from Don Houston again, $7.77 super chat.
Thank you, Don.
Aiden, when do you plan to unveil your cock at an event? I will be taking my Virulent Vector. I will be revealing my double V's soon, but eventually I will bring up the courage to unveil my COC to the wider public. So I've got to get brought up first.
Aiden, I have a suspicion that me and you will be playing Death Guard competitively at the same event and could well play against each other. I'm guessing Lords of War Teams is going to be your first outing with new Death Guard, is it?
Quite possibly, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be mine as well, I think. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we clash at any point if our team runs into your team or not. But yeah, yeah, it'd be quite an interesting one. That's certainly some different takes in it, I'm sure. But yeah, so what else have we got in chat then, guys?
2 more super chats just literally came in. Also, Anton D is asking, I've seen him ask this a few times, so I'll just answer it now. He's asking if we'll be reviewing the Crusade rules. Now, that's not something we normally do, but Dave, you have been playing Crusade. So yeah, I was going to ask.
Yeah, I totally will do that. When we've all got the books in our hands, I will do a stream, and I'm happy to I'll just jump on with you guys. Anyone that wants to talk Crusade, and we'll jump through the Crusade section of the book, and I can talk about how it compares to the current one. Given I've just been playing one, and I've got the final game, I think in 2 weeks' time of what will be the old style one. So yeah, happy to do that.
Awesome. The Birchie, $5 super chat. Last Sunday, I got second place at a local RTT with Index Death Guard as a nice send-off. Hell yeah. Send off that Index. It did it, to be fair to that Index, it started bad, but it actually saw us through the last 2 years, and it ended up being really solid on the table. So I can't moan too much. And Mr. Dazza, thank you very much for the $10 super chat. I want to do a Terminus S-style army and not interested in Plague Marines and vehicles. What is the best attachment to use? It seems like I won't be using everything in Champions of Contagion. So yeah, if you're not taking Plague Marines, definitely don't go with Champions of Contagion. No. They really want you to take the characters in there. So what I'd recommend if you want to do Terminus S style is, honestly, for me personally, and Dave, you can disagree, I'm not sure, because Death Lord's Chosen is a pretty up there, I won't lie. But for me personally, I'm thinking Flyblown for that one.
Yeah, I think it probably would work the best. I'd agree.
Because it gives you that extra burst of movement. All your Terminus get extra durable because you've got the stealth on there. Your Poxwalkers can start up and make an early wave of pressure. So you're still going to want to take 60 Poxwalkers in that sort of attachment. Yep. And it kind of just fits the narrative theme, and you get quite a lot of combat tricks to get stuck into combat. So I think you'd enjoy that one. You can take quite a lot of Blight Lords, Death Shroud, and Poxwalkers. So look at Flyblown Host is my honest thing. That is the Christmas detachment. So go and check that one out. And Mr. Chris Fallout Strongboy, hit the like button, ring the bell to praise Carl, the great Lord of Poxes, whom sure we kept predators in our codex. Blessed be Carl the Turtle, who posts our notifications. And Taj, again, thank you so much for one more gifted membership, mate. I super appreciate it.
Thanks, Taj.
And Mr. Nathan Beecroft as well for becoming a Plague Marine. Super thank you so much. And appreciate the support of everyone. Make sure you get yourself in the Discord.
200 people in tonight already.
Right, well, let's get to the meat and potatoes then, because that's what people are here for. Not to hear me read out super chats all evening, although I'm not complaining. Thank you so much, guys. So what detachment shall we start on? Is there anything you guys specifically what's exciting you? So we'll do one each. So I'll go last. So Mr. Will, go on. Which one is the most exciting attachment for you?
I'm taking a different approach to other people on this. Now, The ones that excite me in terms of rules are the obvious ones: Virulent Vectorium and Champions of Contagion. But I think the data sheets, they're going to get figured out pretty obviously, probably by yourself, Aiden, or someone else. So I'm deliberately avoiding them. I'm trying the Poxwalker one, the Demon one, and Mortarian's Hammer, although Mortarian's Hammer is also everywhere as well. Because I want to see those ones that have my own opinion made. And then obviously, if I do decide to follow the other ones, there'll be a net list I can sort of go into. And I've already had practice with the units. I've been trying Mortarian's Hammer a lot because I just think there's bits in it that I like. I think it's a good unit selection. I like the enhancement that we'll get to. And I like the fact that you can move vehicle through wars. I think it opens up a lot of data sheet play, and you can kind of play a bit more of a cagey game with your vehicles and then be aggressive when you want to be. And it also opens up, Defilers, Land Raiders, if you do want to do that kind of thing. So that's my approach to the Codex, but I know
I've
other
got a view
people
on
are
that
not.
one.
Go on. What's yours?
Only when we get into it. But I've got a view on the moving through wall stuff, which I talked about actually in the masterclass with VT a little bit. But yeah, don't want to jump ahead of it. If you want to talk about that one, Will, then we can go into it.
Yeah, but it's interesting because this is the thing I'm noticing through all the content, and we'll get into. Everyone's noticing different things. Everyone sees different combos, and it links to playstyle. Like one of the things moving through walls, there's one thing particularly that I think is really strong with that, and it's not actually a defiler. But we'll come to that when we get to there. But what are you looking at, Dave? Are you kind of taking this different approach, similar approach? Are you just straight in? Because I know you're a Terminator man and a vehicle man, so I don't know. What are you doing? Are you looking at detachments and thinking, I love these rules, it's a flavoursome, I want to give them a go? Or are you thinking, I want to play with these models? Or just, taking an approach like me, where just trying the stuff that isn't as obvious to kind of make your own opinion before you sort of join the mainstream? Like, what are you looking at?
So good questions. I mean, what I will say is I've obviously been fortunate enough to have had access to the Codex before, so I've had a good chance to have a look through. But I think I'm not going to deny what I am determined that I am going to make Deathlord's Chosen work for me, and I'm going to make that a go-to for me for a long time, because I love Terminators and I really want to play those. But I am then going to try something different. And I think I'm going to try and make, for my own learning and my own, make my brain work differently, I think I'm going to try and make a Taliban summoners work.
Ooh, okay.
Which isn't usual for me. Taj, yes, I will be playing Blight Lords in there as well. It definitely isn't my usual playstyle, but I think I'm doing that deliberately, that now we've got this selection of detachments to play, I want to play something quite diametrically opposed and go for, make my brain kind of figure that one out, because I still think with that one there is some horrible sequencing tricks you can do, and so definitely keen to give it a go, and that's kind of the approach I'm going to be taking.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, we'll come to when we get there, but just touching into that, I think the interesting one with the summoners is just how much value does the extra data sheets bring you? Because I don't think so. One hot tip before we jump into the actual rules, I don't think the detachment now is as important as it used to be. I still think it's important, by the way. So I'll finish my point. There's so much synergy within the data sheet that I think you could make a list with just good data sheets and synergy within them that you felt was points efficient, and completely ignore any detachments, and then at the end just go out to pick any detachments based on these units, and it would function. Obviously, there's levels of, it functions better with this, and this unit enhancements open up certain units and make them different. But I think if we ignore the detachment rules, there's so much synergy within, like stripping cover, add an AP here, getting a reroll here. Like, that I think is really exciting though, and I think that at some point some mad lad's going to be out there. This is one of the Poxwalker attachments. I think the attachment's not great, but is it better to just take more damage and have an extra 180 points for mission play you don't have to start your list with? Is that going to be strong? I'm sure some mad lad's going to make it work. But anyway, what are your thoughts, Ian? Come on, I know me and Dave have kind of gone backwards and forth a bit.
We'll come back to mine, because I'm obviously I am the Virulent Victorian Champions of Contagion kind of person. Like that's toolbox list. That's what I play. So that's like where my heart's at. But what we'll do then is let's start where you started, Will. Let's go through Mortarian's Hammer. So
I just say that what I love about all of the three of us answers there is we are naturally already swaying towards different chunks of the detachments.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. Peter Simonson, thank you very much for becoming a Plague Marine. Mr. Stan, thank you for the £2 super chat. Flyblown and TOC he wants to hear about. We get there, don't worry. Mr. Don Houston, $7.77. Crab Hammer, yeah, we're going to do Crab Hammer. And Taj wanted Dave to say Blight Lords, and he definitely said Blight Lords, so he'll be happy.
I think Flyborn's really good as well, by the way. I think that's another one that's worth testing. But yeah, do you know what? Flyborn is really interesting too. But yeah, so where should we start, guys?
So
I don't want to.
Detachment rule wise, so we'll just quickly talk about this because it's fairly obvious how this is powerful. Pick 2 enemy units at the start of every battle round, and they're just as long as they're 12 inches or more away from every unit in your army, so that includes any allies as well. Not that's really a thing anymore. Then you are just afflicted. Like you just get afflicted. Talk about point and click. That's really good. Like I mean, if I could do that back in old Plague Company times, that'd be like the greatest ability ever. You just pick 2 things and go, yeah, you're -1 toughness, -1 save. Just eat shit. I mean, when I first read it, I was like, oh, only 2 units. And then when I thought on it more, and I was like, yeah, it probably should only be 2 units. When I actually realized how silly that felt. Imagine it was 3, just like you, and you. It's a fantastic rule. I mean, we talk about how important contagion is, affliction, or whatever people want to call it now. Just being able to, it's not just the fact you can pick 2 units and just be like, you are going to take a lot more damage this turn. You can just, like we said, mind tricks, you just pick their backfield objective holder, and it's like, cool, screen out 6 or get Death Shroud on your home objective. Like that.
Yeah, I'm just going to mortar your Pissant 1 wound set of models off, and then you've got to put something else back there now, which is taking another one of your units out of play.
Yeah, the other thing I like about it as well is when I'm playing Virulent Vectorum or a COC, I'm building my list with units in it that are going to spread early contagion. We're talking Chaos Spawn, Infiltrate, Poxwalkers. This detachment doesn't really need those units. You don't have to expend resources to put your opponent in contagion. You just go, you and you, click, click. I'm going to shoot that one to death, and that one I'm going to deep strike Death Shroud on. Like being able to just pick a unit and just guarantee Death Shroud are going to drop on that thing is super powerful. So I mean, I think we can all agree detachment rule is pretty strong. Any hot takes on this one?
I have a couple of hot takes. I played this one. This was my test game. The Death Shroud thing is really good, but smart opponents can play around. So the detachment rule is great, but it's so much better if you go first. Because if you go second, it's a bit like calling the war. Because you put on the units and your opponent knows where it is and then can play around it a little bit. So like my opponent was smart and realised, well, you can come in within 6 of these afflicted units, but if I stand this unit right next to it, you still got to be 9 away from them. And then obviously you can still move in, and they might be putting units out of position that don't want them. Like I was deliberately putting on units that I knew he was going to put in his line of sight, because I wanted to shoot them back, and it meant, well, you either hold them back or you have to screen them, or the angle, like the line of shoot might be harder. So there's play there, but do be aware it's not as like, if the rule was at the start of your turn for the battle round, it would be so much stronger. But that might also be, I don't know, maybe that would be too strong, maybe it wouldn't. But just be aware of that was the thing that I noticed straight away. That was one of my first sort of like takeaways from playing the detachment.
Yeah, it definitely has a lot more power going first in the turn. Like you said, going second, you give that information up to your opponent, which is, I don't know, it's still powerful, it's still impactful because they have to play around it.
They have to play it, yeah.
But it's a lot more impactful when you can just pick 2 things and instantly act upon it if you're going first in the turn. So you are correct there, Will. So there is a slight bit of a downside to that attachment rule. That is a fair point. So let's go into the enhancements. So enhancement-wise, we have the Eye of Affliction. So this is the first one. Ranged models, so Death Guard model, obviously. Ranged weapons equipped by the models in the bearer's unit have ignores cover while targeting an afflicted unit. It's okay. Like, it's pretty decent. Like, it's ignores cover.
Let's be honest, it's crap. Like, I know you're trying to put a sugar thing. It's not a crap enhancement, but there isn't a unit to put it on that's worth to put it on, which is why it's crap. Like, I don't think you'll ever take it, because what unit can you put that on that shoots? Because it's not, isn't it the model only? Yeah, because model only, it's not the, hang on, is it
it's the unit gets it. But the problem I have with
I'd misread that, so that's why I was like...
The unit it goes on is, you're going to put on Plague Marines, you're going to put on Blight Lords. Now, Plague Marines Plague Marines tend to have like Plasma, which has got really high AP anyway, so it's like they don't really need it as much. Blight Lords get the best use out of this because those AP 2 bolters, because they get +1 for the squad rule, +1 if they're -1 save contagion. Having them be able to ignore cover just means that AP1, AP2 actually matters, which is good.
Actually matter, yeah. Agreed.
But at the same time, I get what you say, Will, because the problem is Blight Lord Brick is expensive, and this is a vehicle-focused attachment, so you're already spending a lot of points on your vehicles, so you're really going to fit in a Blight Lord Brick just to put this in, and like Death Shroud naturally ignore cover anyway. So I
was going to say
I'd misread it completely. So I genuinely thought it was just the bearer's gun, and I was like, why would you ever take that? That's why I was like, it's not a single character. It's terrible, but the unit makes a lot more sense though.
Now, one place I do like this is if you take this detachment in a weird different route, which we'll probably cover when we get to a different strat, which is about like transport play and just using the breakthrough wall strategy. Also, Necros DB, congrats on the bingo card, Kool-Aid Man stratagem, it was in the book. So I can see it being useful there on a more aggressive playstyle. You put on some Plague Marines, drive up, shoot a lot of things. But again, it's probably it's not. This isn't an enhancement like thingy is like final ingredient where I read this and I'm like, shit, this goes in my list because it changes fundamentally how the game plays. It's I've got some spare points, I'm going to put it in. But when we look at the other ones, we'll see, does it compare to the others, or are they going to be the ones that you spend your spare points on? So next up...
The only other one I'd put this on is... The only other person you could put this on is a Malignant Plaguecaster, but I think that's kind of what Aiden's going to, if you like Disembark, and then you're getting Ignores cover.
Yes, that is true.
But the next one is why you might not put it on...
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So the next one, Bilemore Blight. On a Plaguecaster only, at the start of your shooting phase until the end of the phase, add 12 to the range characteristic of the bearer's Plague Wing weapon. Now, me and Dave did figure this. We got confused when the article came out because we'd already seen all these enhancements due to our NDA.
Yeah.
That this is the enhancement that does work on firing deck.
Yes, it is. But it doesn't work on Overwatch, which is why it's written the way it is.
Yes. So while you're embarked in the Rhino, you're still able to use abilities while you're off the board, as long as they don't specify you have to be on the battlefield. So use the ability, change his weapon to 24-inch range. Then you go to fire the Rhino, use firing deck to select the now 24-inch range weapon, and you can fire that out of the firing deck. So you can have a 24-inch flamer coming out of a Rhino. And anyone that's played Plague Bust knows these guys' flamers are actually not a joke. They can really hurt. So it's cute. I quite like it. But again, are we putting it in our list, or is it just going to be we got some spare points?
Exactly, I'd agree. And just to let everyone know, so the reason is because this affects at the start of the shooting phase. We're adding 12 inches to that attack's profile, and it's a ranged weapon. So at the start of the shooting phase is when it happens, and then you're selecting that model from inside the Rhino to utilize the firing deck, therefore it works. But as Aiden said, is it a must-have? Are you going to build the list with that straight away? Probably not. If you do put it on the model because you've got points kicking around, and you bring that thing on from reserve, and you've got a unit you want to kill that's 24 inches away or do some damage to, and a unit that's closer for 12, and you've got two of them in there. Well, one Malignant Plaguecaster hits one, the other one can hit the other.
Yeah, it's not too bad, honestly. The next one's a bit more interesting, I think, which is the Shriekworm Familiar. Basically, put it on a unit once per battle round. You can just Overwatch for free. That's genuinely pretty decent.
Really helpful, and I think thematically it fits into the fact that you've got all these tanks, and then you've got infantry to protect them. And I think so thematically, dropping that onto a unit that's got flamers or or loads and loads of a couple of spewers and loads of combi weapons or whatever, that kind of works.
Yeah, I think that one's interesting. I think because that one you are almost going to certainly have Death Shroud in this attachment because obviously they're great with the army rule, and you're probably going to have a character somewhere. I think that one there is if you've got like an awkward number of points left and you've already taken the one that we're about to talk to next, then you put it then just to have something to use the points on. But I don't think in any way you build around it is the reality.
The one thing
talking about the next one then.
Just very quickly, the one thing I do like about Shriekworm Familiar, it's a play I used to do quite a bit, which is the rapid ingress Overwatch, and now that entire trick can be done for 1 CP. Because I don't have to pay for the Overwatch now. So I can rapid ingress in 6 Death Shroud, a Lord of Virulence, which you probably only want Lord of Virulence in this attachment. Now, I'm not sure if you want to afford a 6-man brick here, but still being able to rapid ingress that thing in, and then 3 Overwatch a unit for free. That used to be a 2 CP combo, so I had to keep that up and be like, okay, got to keep 2 CP to do this trick.
Yeah.
Now I can do it for 1. And that trick catches a lot of people with the pants down. Like, suddenly, that 10 Berserkers that was about to make the charge suddenly stand in the open more often than you'd think and just let you kill them next turn because they probably died to the Overwatch. So it is good for that. I do like it genuinely for that trick. So if you want to use that trick, which is great for defending tank gun lines, they're trying to rush you down, get into melee, you just suddenly rapid ingress in with an Overwatch threat, blast it away for free. It's really good for that.
And what's nice as well is now as well with if it is Death Shroud that you've got this on, is that because they're trying to get in close to you, so they can't fail the charge. They're trying to make it a 4 or 5 inch charge or whatever. And now they are in contagion range. You can now make sure you can get all models in that unit within range of your flamers instead of maybe sometimes there were a few out, or because it was on the edge of a 9 inch, and then you only had 3 inches of which further range to get your 12 inch flamers in.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. I hadn't really sort of thought of it from that angle, but yeah, I think that's a really good shout.
So very quickly for Digger Denson, you cannot use the Demon Prince's 3 strat of reduction on rapid ingress because you target the unit when it's in reserves, not when it's set up, and when you target it in reserves, it is not within 12 of the Demon Prince. Just very quickly. So last one, Tendrils Emissions. Lord of Virulence only. While you're within 3 inches of a vehicle model, you get loan up on the Lord of Virulence, and then he gives any vehicle that's within 3 inches, giving him loan up. Reroll wants to wound, so it's a bit like old Mortarian aura. What do you think about this one?
This might be, because taking into account the points, I think that might be, it's a contender for possibly the best enhancement in the book because of the points as well. There were some other really good enhancements, but you've got to remember they all cost 5 to 10 points more. Like when I looked at the cost of the enhancements for this detachment,
how much is this one?
I couldn't believe it's 20 points.
Oh, okay, that is good. Okay, fair. That is good.
Yeah. So the best. Sold. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I looked at, I'm sure the ones we've looked at, I'm sure a couple of them are even more expensive. Oh no, one of them's the same. The Eye of Affliction is the same points, and I was like, why would you ever spend 20 points on Eye of Affliction before you'd had 10+ emissions in there? Like
that's fair.
Yeah, like I think just for 20 points, I think that might be. It's definitely up there as one of the best. If you're looking at efficiency as part of it as well, just the rule itself. I know there's a couple of other super strong ones we're going to come to, but yeah, just for points efficiency, that could be the one for me. But yeah, I think every Mortarian's Hammer list has that enhancement and a lot of evidence. I think it starts. I think you start this attachment with a Lord of Virulence with that enhancement, and then
definitely agree.
You populate from there.
Yeah, because I mean, you think about it, the Lord of Virulence now points at something, your entire army is getting real ones to hit, anything near the Lord of Virulence is now also getting real ones to wound, if not real full hits because of blast weapons. Like, for 90 points and he can't be targeted because he's lown up, that is worth 20 points. That is worth the 20-point upgrade.
Because his ability doesn't stop him doing actions as well, so he can look over there and go, have your buff, I'm going to do this action over here, and then, And
I'm low up, so you can't stop me.
If you're mad as well, you can space these guys out and have 2 of them.
I was just about to say that at the end of the detachment, when we've run through all the rules, I do want to touch back and have a bit of a round table. Is it 1 or 2 Lord of Virulence? Because I can see a world where 2 makes sense in this detachment. 1 low, not 1 with a squad. So you can kind of have either side of the board and also the equivalent of double oath. Because I think the Lord of Virulence datasheet rule is so efficient, you might blast a unit off the board with the other half of your army still to shoot. You might actually want the 2 full re-rolls, because especially when Aiden pointed out the haulers last week have a re-roll, get +1 to hit. The thing that with this, it's re-roll 1s to hit on everything. So if your white haulers are shooting against a vehicle, they're re-rolling 1s hitting on 2. So that's another little synergy in there, which maybe opens up why you put 2 in there, like, and makes you can cover both sides of the board. I don't think it's essential, but I think there's definitely a conversation to be had. So maybe we could sort of have a quick round table on that before we move on to the next attachment after we've finished the rules on this, because I think that's one of the big sort of like 50-50s in this one. Because obviously after that, there's a few things that this attachment kind of writes itself in terms of lists. I think it's just what vehicles do you want?
Yeah.
But what have you got next? What should we do next? Should we obviously going to go on the strat time? Just going to go from the top.
Yeah. So we'll obviously spend more time talking the more impactful ones. Blighted Land is the first one. It's 2 CP, end of movement phase. Pick a Death Guard vehicle from your army, select a terrain feature within 24 that it can see, and that terrain feature then gives off a 3-inch aura of Contagion and Affliction. I honestly think this is probably like the dud, because like it's expensive.
You can see units.
Yeah, you can select 2 key units. It's expensive at 2 command points, so you're probably just going to get more use out of the other ones. I think you can maybe make an argument if your opponent really fucks up and all clutters around a building and you've got a 3 PBC build and you just want to get the afflicted 5-up rolls. Like, that might be then worth, but even then again, is that still worth 2 CP? If it was 1 CP, I'd pay it. 2 CP? I don't know.
I think the one that you'd use this for situation is the Death Shroud one. You know the example I gave before, people move the non-afflicted unit to stand in front and push it back 9.
Yeah.
You go, okay, we've moved the unit there, 2 CP, that's afflicted as well, and I still get my 6-inch deep strike. I think that's the only time, and I think it's situational as anything. But there will be. I think it's a good pocket strat to have, but like you said, it's 2 CP, and I think it's hardly ever going to come up. Apart from that, 1 in 10 games where your opponent, or you see a little opening somewhere that could flip the game because your opponent thinks they've been really smart. They think they've shoot your deep strike down. You're coming in 9, and that 9-inch charge, if you hit it, is going to swing the game. And you're like, actually, I can make it a 6-inch. I'm going to spend 2 CP to do it, but it's going to be worth it. I think there'll be instances, but they're niche. I think is the.
All right. Well, I'm gonna push back on you guys on this one, because I think it's a bit. I think you're giving it. I think you're being a little bit mean to it. I don't disagree with everything you said there. But what I would say is I think there'll be a point in the game that is even more built on what you said, Will, which is if you've got a massive super L in the middle and you stick this on this. It's not even the fact of the units that are around it at that point, but what your opponent might be trying to stage next or moving up, and what you've got to bring in from, because it's until I believe they're afflicted until the start of your next turn.
Yes, you are. Right.
It's afflicted until the 4. Yes, I'm back.
So basically, what you can also do with this, right? If you've got predators and you've got them on the flank, or you've got things to bring in from reserve, or you're going to get more angles onto units staged all the way around this building. You've got mortars, like you said. You want to drop Death Shroud in. I think this is a go turn activator as well.
Okay.
I think you could pop this in. Don't get me wrong, you're not going to do it if there's I don't know, a Calidus assassin standing right next to the middle right now. So of course you're not. But if they are staging stuff where you know that the opponent's going to want they're going to want to move out what's behind the middle and move up other things into it, or they're going to just be left hanging in the wind, I think you could pop this at that point, set up to then go for a bit of a go turn and gun down with -1 toughness, -1 save, a huge amount of your opponent's army potentially, or just do loads of damage and then potentially splash mortals. I think there is a time and a place for this one that I don't know if it's quite the dud we think it might be, but I agree it's expensive at 2 CP. But I think there's probably a reason for that, which we'll hopefully get to see at some point. Have to be proven wrong, but I think there's some play in this one.
Fair play.
I think it's a good pocket strat. It's good to have, isn't it? It's the sort of the summary. I think
it's
good to know you can do it.
What I will say is, and this goes for a lot of the strats in this book, is there's a lot of threat cards which you just by saying you can do it could actually screw your opponent's game plan up.
True.
Yeah.
I think I like it more with Demon Prince as well. Making it 1 CP is a lot more.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Then I like it. Okay, fair enough. Fair play. So next up we got Font of Filth. This one is pretty self-explanatory. Pick a vehicle, give it assault. The timing of it is good because it's in your shooting phase, so you know the result of your advance. You don't have to use it when a unit advances, which some versions do. So we have the better version of it. So that's very nice. It's just straight up good. Like, there's not really much to dissect. It's just good. Lets you get better angles. Makes hard to move units like like defilers, be able to move an extra D6 inches, get over ruins, still shoot, etc. It's just a great option to have. You'll be able to just put in something in assault, and you can even rapid ingress a vehicle from a side, somewhere safe, and then next turn move up a flank assault if you need to, and start shooting. So, I mean, again, I don't think there's too much to like dissect in this because it's pretty straightforward. It gives a vehicle assault, but in a vehicle detachment, it's really good to have. Like, assault bloat drones with flamers are fantastic. Like, you just get around the wall. Assault blight haulers also, just that extra chance to get into melee range. And it affects the entire unit. If you use it on a unit 2 blight haulers, they're all assault. Every single model, both units and models in that unit are assault. So you get a lot more bang for your buck there. Yeah,
I think it's also nice for you could get a drone that's got one of our biggest movements. You could advance that onto an objective. It's got 5 models on it, and then you use the advance. You get on there, you sweep off them with spitters, and then you've got the point. And I was going to say as well, I know we've jumped over it, but there's a point I wanted to make back on Relentless Grind. Unless you're going to come back to it.
That's the next one. Relentless Grind.
Okay, so obviously you were talking about the opportunity to bring like vehicles right through the wall, like Land Raider, or and I talked about this as well and we kind of did a little demo of it on the VT masterclass. But what I would say is, if you do it with a vehicle like a Defiler or a Land Raider, they're very, very big models, and if the Land Raider's parked like even sideways, right, it's 5.5 inches wide with sponsons on it. If there's one single model, the other side of the wall, an inch away or whatever, like, you're not dropping that onto the middle. If you've got a Defiler, similar problem. Like, I know you can kind of model them a bit nicer, but huge leg span to clear the building completely and even scuttle over something is tough. Where I think this is the way to be looked at is actually to just clip the corner of a building to get like a leg into engagement range, or to sit just outside to have you a non-failable charge and some good shooting. And maybe even something with the Land Raider. I still think there's a great play if you can do it early to just park a Land Raider on top of the center objective, especially on UKTC, and just be like, well, there's no room for you to come through the wall. There's no room for you to touch the objective if this is here, and I can disembark and I can shoot it, etc. But I just wanted to flag that I don't think it's if anyone hasn't actually tried this yet, it's not as easy as just putting it through the wall sometimes if your opponent's positioned well.
No, I mean, because the Defiler can move over models as well, so I think it's. I mean, to me, I think the Defiler's a good. It opens it up because it's there. I think if you put 2 Defilers in, I'm still nervous to try 3. I think one goes in outflank and comes in a board edge, and one goes in the middle. It shoots, but then if someone goes to stand in the middle and you want it to charge, then you spend the strat to sort of move through the wall and make it easy to charge. I actually, the place I see is a Rhino with 5 shooting guys inside. Because you can move the Rhino through the wall 12 inches, disembark 3 inches, so 15 inches basically, and then put 10 OC on a point, and then use the Rhino shooting buff and the Plague Marine shooting, so you can clear the point, stand it. I think that's where one of the strongest thing is. The other thing I think is a mower bloke drone. The reason a mower bloke drone is really good, obviously you can stage through the wall in cover, you move it to 10, especially got 2 CP, you can do it in the charge phase. But then the following, so it clears the point, holds it, maybe finishes in cover, whatever. Yeah. And the following turn, it can fall through another wall. And on turn 2, you could realistically be attacking the home field. And I think that's a play that's the play I'm seeing. I think in this list, you always put one mower bloat drone in with this strat, and then it's just, as soon as you get in your deployment zone and it's bouncing around, they have to stand and either leave the deployment zone, have line of sight, or leave a hard hammer unit there to deal with it and kind of boss the game. And you might even be able to pressure that, because if you can pressure the home field objective turn 2, because they can see you can fall back and charge.
Yeah.
I just think that's, for 90 points, that's such an effective, like.
And it's particularly effective because of fly keyword there.
Yeah, it's just a nuisance unit. That's what I mean. It's a fall back and charge in addition to that strat. So I just think one mower drone. I think more than one. You sort of like, you can only use a strat once. I think it's really good. And also the mower drones or another drone or a blight hauler. If you do get engaged or something like that or whatever, and you can't, just moving straight through the wall 10 inches. It might be the distance between like going a four quarters and engage or getting a containment, something like that. So I think it's really good. I think the Land Raider sort of like is a bit of a meme, starting at turn 1, come through a wall, use the charge ramp, and then sort of like have death shard and someone's deployment turn 1. I think it's such an expensive package. I'm sure some lads probably see it all, like make it work and like absolutely wreck everyone with it. But like, I think for me, it's a good pocket strat. But I think it's more for the little demon engines to sort of go and do actions and being used. Like I say, like that drone example. I mean, how annoying is that? Because most people's expansion objective, a lot of people won't kind of fortify it early. And if you can clear it turn 1 and then have to sort of have them redirect like resources down there, or if you clear it and they can't get there, then turn 2, you fall back through a wall, or then fall back, charge through the wall again. And I mean, that's a nightmare to deal with. Like, so many armies and so many like situations that arise, and then if it doesn't work, it was 90 points. Who cares? Do you know what I mean? You've disrupted their game plan. It's just a nuisance unit, and it's that for me. I think that strat and the enhancement on the Lord of Virulence make this for me a really strong detachment. Yeah. I mean, admittedly, they don't have the flavour, and there's a lot more gun detachments that like make things exciting and open up with the units. But I just think just straight up basic Warhammer, they're really good strats to have. Alone up the bust your army. vehicles moving through walls when you've got fast keep units. I just think it's solid.
Yeah.
With the 2 units in contagion added on top. Like I say, it's simple, it's basic, but it's effective.
Yeah, that is true. And let's not forget that strat can also be used in the charge phase, so the flesh mode
Yeah.
even better use out there. So next up, and we'll try and keep it moving at a pace. So we got Ice Stinger. It's all right, don't worry. We got Ice Stinger Swarm. Select in the opponent's command phase. Select a vehicle from your army that can see an objective marker. Everything that's on that objective marker has to take a battle shock test. It's another tool for potentially denying primary. I know we kind of like don't want to rely on battle shock, but I'm not going to lie. 1 CP, if they've only got 1 unit on it, to potentially make them fail battle shock, even at full strength.
Late game, love it.
Even the start game, if they only put 1 unit on that, and then they fail battle shock, and now they don't hold primary for a turn, and you've held primary, now they have to push into you. And again, we always say, if you push into Death Guard, you die. So don't. If you are in like a weird stalemate, no one really wants to commit. I'm using this stratagem because I will just try and make you. If you haven't got like what Will said with like a Rhino and 5 Marines or something to go and take the primary off them, just use this. Just be like, cool. I mean, you might pass, mate, you might fail.
You might get a Rhino running through 2 walls. I mean, you can't run through models. You could realistically get Plague Marines on someone's home field, and if they've got an icon, they have to take that test at -1 leadership. Do you know what I mean? It could. It's one of those things. Again, it's a pocket strat. When it comes, it could be meaningful. You know, like a really tight game, last turn. You know,
it's a great
idea. Right, if this game's going to come down to like 4 points, so take a leadership test on them now, and then it's like failed. Right, okay.
Yeah,
that's 5 points.
Flesh Mode drone went in.
Point.
Yeah, maybe a Flesh Mode drone went in, thought it was going to wipe out the 5 scouts. You completely whiffed it. It's a Hail Mary to still try and deny the primary. And it works. Yeah. Cool.
Second bite of the cherry.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you've got CP at the end of the game, why would you not do it?
Why wouldn't you?
We got Drawn to Despair. So pick a Death Guard unit from your army that's not been selected to shoot. Until the end of the phase, if you make an attack against an enemy unit that is not an aircraft for some weird reason, that is in the opponent's deployment zone. I don't get it. It's in the opponent's deployment zone, you can reroll the hit roll. So even if a single bit of the model is in the deployment zone or a single model in the squad, it doesn't say wholly within, so as long as they're in their deployment zone, fully rolls to hit. It's going to be situational. You're not always going to get to shoot the thing you want that's in the opponent's deployment zone, but fully rolls to hit for 1 CP with a bit of a condition. When it comes up, you're going to use it straight up. Like it's just going to you're going to use it. Now, admittedly, you've already got LOV, so it's not as impactful. So I don't think you're going to get as much use out as you think. But being able to just put it in, it's pretty good.
It's really important to note you have to be able to see the unit.
Yes,
as well.
so don't think you can PBC.
Because when I first, I was like 1 PBC on my home field. That's not every turn. So yeah, unfortunately, you can't do that. So yeah, that little combo went out the window straight away.
Yeah. And last up, we got Stinking Mire, which is probably the most powerful one in this one. Whenever an opponent tries to charge a vehicle, until the end of the phase, -2 to charge that vehicle.
Nice.
-2 to charge is super solid. If you really want to put the pain on, you can put if you have a Foul Blight spawn and you're in Sniper Emperor's Children, you put him in the line of your tanks. Now they can't advance within 9 of it. So that means if they want to, advance and charge, they've got to be 9 inches away. Then you hit them with that. Now they've got to make an 11-inch charge. Like, you just not going anywhere. So the one thing tanks, especially our bloat drones, our heavy bloat drones, the blast ones, because they've lost fallback, shoot, and charge, they actually can get tied up because they can't even shoot in combat because it's blast. So being able to -2 a charge roll, this is probably the best stratagem in here for this kind of playstyle. And it's just a fantastic tool to have. And there's going to be games where people just go for that go turn, and you'd even use this on 6-inch charge. I'll put a 6-inch to an 8-inch charge, sure thing.
I would, yeah. Because, and also, this gives us a second. This is why I like. This is one of the things I like about the book as well. This is another example of a defensive strat for, like, though it's not on infantry, you can just do it on the vehicle, but it's another way of keeping a vehicle-driven army alive. Because you've got free Overwatch somewhere else, and then we've got an ability to -2 a charge. So we're actually it's just yet another way of keeping those vehicles in play in the game and not just getting bogged down by fast melee.
It is, yeah. So very quickly as well, very quick, Will. Digger Denton, he said, would you pick the unit for Affliction, run the -1OC Contagion to ramp up? He's on about the ice thing as well. You will not take -1OC Contagion in this detachment. You take -1 save. This wants to shoot people to death.
Kill.
The odd chance of you being able to do a cute little trick with -1OC to the dying primary is not worth the damage output loss.
You don't base your game on it, yeah.
No. It's nice when it happens, but you don't bank on it. You just, like, -1 save just gets things dead. So just be aware of that.
Should we just jump to Super Chats?
Yeah, well, let's wrap up this detachment. So what do we actually think of this detachment overall? just give you a quick summary of it. So try and keep it like a minute or so, and then we'll move on to the next one.
It's easy. It's much less than a minute. Really strong.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of summarised it at the start. I think the big question for me is just, I think you can build in many different ways. I think you do still possibly put Plague Marines and Rhinos. You don't have to. I think you definitely put Min Squads of Death Shroud in. Whether they're attached or not, I don't think matters. I think they're the ones digging things out of cover. I think Plague Burst Crawlers only really make sense this detachment if you are going to run Plague Burst Crawlers at the current point of 195. I don't think they're essential in this attachment. Like I say, you could put Death Shrouds in just to go and stand and kind of dig things out instead. I think the biggest one is just do you go 1 or 2 Lord of Virulence. I think for me that's the big question, and it might be a genuine 50-50 answer on that, depending on how you've built the list around them. But yeah, do you guys have anything to add on that?
And the very last question for you there, Will. Is this a competitive detachment, would you say?
Oh, 100%. Definitely. Like, I think this might not be the most competitive detachment. It might not be the thing that people see, but you'll see this going 4-1 all over the place, and some people will regularly go 5-0 with it. I think it's a playstyle detachment. I think if you want to run loads of guns and you're going to run the old Plague Storm type, then you're on this. But obviously, if you're looking to run more infantry stuff, maybe it's more like of a toolkit. Though I think you can build a nice toolkit detachment with this, just to play straight up simple good Warhammer, running through walls, loads of rerolls, minor suit of charge. Like, it's not as flashy, it's not as exciting, it's not like, as jump off the pace like the other ones, but it's solid. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think any army. If you offered any army in the game this attachment, I don't think any army would turn it down. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think the other thing that's good about it is, aside from the conversation about 1 or 2 LAVs potentially, I think if you like playing certain types of vehicles, you can make that work in this detachment with your playstyle, which is what's so good about it. The stratagems and the enhancements allow you to kind of make whatever your favorite vehicles in the Death Guard Index are, or so Codex are. And you can just make that work within it. So yeah, pure Plague Storm, really nice.
Yeah. So what attachment should we do next? So if you've got anything to add yourself in, anything about?
I think it's incredibly strong. I personally find it a bit boring, but it's just I'm not a tank spam person, never have been. But it's very powerful. I think it will actually do better in America. I think GW Terrain does this one better than
definitely
UTC and stuff.
I think UKTC is where it'll do good. I think the WTC style is where this one might.
Yeah, it'll fall down a bit.
Yeah.
But it'll be really strong, and if you are looking to take this competitive, it's a really solid choice. You won't be doing anything wrong by that. Mr. Dave, do you want to quickly go through super chats while I get the next one up?
Yeah, man, no worries. So just to jump back a bit, so we have got a $4.99 super chat from Pop of Luke. Thank you very much. Is 3x10 Poxwalkers basically an auto include in every list outside of the Pox detachment? Guys,
even in the Pox detachment, when we get there, that's a hot take. Don't fall for the trap. Still just take 3x10, maybe 2x10 and 120. Just have the extra 3 units. Don't go the silly 120 thing. Like, I think the Pox one might be strong, but still just do 3 units of 10, and then just basically go, and then throughout the course again, I get another 3 units of 10, so I probably don't need to worry about spawn so much. That's my hot take on that one, but we'll deep dive when we get there.
You what, sorry?
Quick 10-second take on that question. 3x10 Pox basically an auto include outside in every list outside the Pox detach?
3x10 or 2x10 Italian man is my personal list.
Okay, the Gazbaz asked for a £2 super chat. Thank you, Gaz. What are each of your favourite detachments in the book? I think I know Aiden's definitely.
Yeah, Virulent Victorium.
Virulent Victorium. Will, who had to pick one?
More times Hammer, I think, for me, because that's the one I'm writing the most lists for. But I like the fact you can take demons with Death Guard rules, so that might be my most flavoursome one. But just because I have a big demons collection.
Death Lord's chosen for me, and 2 more super chats to read out from Nervous Magikarp. £2 super chat. Thank you very much. What's the best 5-man Blight Lord Terminator build? Do you mean it in weapons loadout?
I think he means weapons. Yeah, I think he means what weapons you put on them. I'll let you guys answer because I haven't really looked at Blight Lords. I skimmed.
I wouldn't mess around too much with a 5. I think you're probably just going to want to load it up with you're going to use a flamer and then probably your kind of combi weapon. Your not combi weapons, the storm bolters. I think equivalent. You're going to use a 5-man in a very kind of normalish way. It's not like you only want to worry about potentially scaling it if you're going into a 10-man.
I like just take Reaper, take the Blight Launcher, Flamer's optional. don't take the flail. Flail's not worth it.
Yep, agreed. And Don, who's in $7.77. Thank you again, Don. The sixth stratagem is actually the most powerful stratagem in the detachment. So no question, just a statement from the Crab King. And then Prometheus William, member for 19 months. Thank you very much, Prometheus. That's amazing. You're closing on 2 years, buddy. We've got a tidal. It just says we've got a tidal wave of good content on the way, and that's absolutely true.
Yeah, got plenty more coming for you guys. Do not worry. So we'll do Death Guard Chosen next. So Death Guard Chosen is the Terminator-based detachment. So the detachment rule for this one is: in your opponent's command phase, roll 2d6 for each afflicted enemy unit. This is the ones that are nearby or afflicted for any other reasons, like Plague Marines, etc. Subtract 1 from the result of this roll if they are below half strength. If the result is a 6 or less, or a 7 or less if they're below half. That unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Mr. Dave, you have played this already on VT Stream. I watched you roll 6s like an absolute madman against MSU Eldar. It was funny as fuck.
Funny.
You go for it.
So yeah, look, the fact that you're just putting people into contagion and then they're potentially taking mortal wounds, just for a little bit of math from people out there who like it, to roll a 6 is a 41% chance, and if they're below half strength, you've got a 58% chance of getting the roll you need. And the nice thing is, kind of, you get to roll it because it's your ability. So yes, it is a nice thing. What I would suggest you don't do is, you're not building the list to win the game based off this detachment rule. It is an attritional thing that as the game goes on, you're potentially just eating into your opponent's dregs as the battle goes on. So into something like Eldar or Guard or some Gaunts or things that are just, if you've got small MSU units, it is pretty handy and you can just be picking up models. The upside of it is things like people losing OC volumes. People kind of like just 1 or 2 models left on a point at the end of the game and they just lose them because they're in contagion. There's sneaky ways to extend it. So, you definitely want to be closing people down and putting them in it. There are multiple ways to get people into affliction, and that is what you've got to be thinking about to kind of maximize that spread during the game to kind of make it work. And that's definitely where I think this one comes into its own. And the other thing is you've got to think about probably stacking mortal wounds in this book, which is pretty easy. And actually then you can see that start to damage people outside of kind of other phases. And that's a bit I like about this, is that you can actually have this activate at a point in their command phase, which we talked about it in the game, didn't we, Aiden, where it was like Ben was thinking about doing insane bravery on a unit. And it was like, well, I could pass it, and I'm like, and then you could lose it to mortal wounds, which is pretty cool. Is a nice thing. So I like this because fundamentally I like it because it's about Terminator builds, and I'm a big fan of Terminators and what they've done to our Terminators. So I think we'll get into it and talk about how probably you can build out that mortal wound repertoire within the list as we go through it.
Yeah, it's a cool attachment, and like I said, I think the incremental value this gets you, and especially punishes MSU armies and elite armies. And there are many other ways in this book to get mortal wounds, as we'll see. You got TIE First Grenade strats, Tank Shock, Stank Shock, as we'll see in here. You can do a lot of mortal wounds out of nowhere with this army, and even Chaos Spawn, for example. And it adds up. It really does add up, especially when you start rolling a lot of the times. And it's a bit of a casino. You can obviously roll all 8s higher, but if you are historically shit at rolling dice, this is the detachment for you, because you get rewarded for rolling shit.
You've never wanted to roll low any more in your life.
So we're going to the enhancements then. So first up, we've got Face of Death, Terminator model only. Start of the fight phase, each enemy unit with engagement range of the bearer's unit must take a battle shock test.
Bit situational, this is another one probably of a I've got some points to spare, so I'm gonna use that.
It's better on the Death Shroud because they have the -1 leadership icon, which has a bit of synergy.
I still think it's if it was putting this in and stopping me taking another unit, I won't be doing it that way around.
Yeah, that is fair. Vile Vigor, Terminator model only. While the bear is leading a unit, add 1 to the movement characteristics of 6-inch move Terminators, and you can reroll advanced rolls made for that unit.
And let's laugh at the fact that's 50% more movement than we had in Index.
Yeah, 4 to 6 is a big speed boost.
It's a big speed boost. So yeah, kind of an interesting one. Potentially interesting on if you've got a Terminator brick that's on the field that you want to move somewhere, and then that gives you that extra kind of inch on top of the extra inch we've got in the versus the Index, and then you can roll an advance to move somewhere. Can actually get you into cover fairly easily if you need it, and just get that unit moving.
I think Go on.
I think this is best if you're going to go down the 10 Blight Lords route, because the 10 Blight
Agreed.
Lords, I know everyone's going to be like, the other one that we're going to talk about next is good, but it's a huge footprint. If you deep strike them in, you're hardly ever going to get them where you want them to be. So I think the best way is to start them on the board and move them up the board. And I think for that, that extra 1 inch move and reroll advances will be huge. Because turn 1, you're probably not charging anything, you're probably not shooting anything. You might just push up against the wall, reroll, and just try and stage for turn 2 and start the game from turn 2 onwards. And I think for that, for 15 points, it's probably like auto include if you're going to include 10 Blight Lords. Or maybe it's even 6 Death Shroud for the same reasons.
I agree with Will. I think this detachment, you can't get trapped into putting all your terminators in reserves. A unit has to start on the board, and this is a great detachment. This is a great enhancement for a unit that wants to start on the board, because like Will said, get that staging area early means that you're not slogging around, and you don't want to roll a 1 on your first advance and then move 6 inches. You want to be able to reliably go bang and move like 10 inches turn 1 and get into a nice spot. So yeah, really good. Warp Talisman. Once per battle, at the end of your opponent's movement phase, if a bear is not within engagement range, you can uppy downy.
I mean, like this is great. So
pick up the bingo card, guys.
Take up the bingo card. So when I was talking to Ben about the start of this game, and I was talking through this detachment and saying what it does, I think what was really funny was I said to him, well, obviously what I could do is start a unit in space, bring them down. They can do some stuff. They cannot end in engagement range because they kill whatever they're in engagement range with, and then they go back up into space, and then they come down and they do it again. But I was like, I'm going to play this like Ben's going to go first, and he did. And what this then allowed me to do was start a unit of 6 on the table, have my opponent deploy around a big unit of 6 with a lot of contagion on the table, have them sitting behind the center ruin and Mortarian there, etc. And then at the end of his first turn, just pick them up anyway.
Yeah, and then
it's brilliant. It was so good.
I think this one's auto include. I think if you're playing this detachment, you're taking that, and it might just be on a character in 3 Death Shrouds. I think that might even be where you play it because you get the small footprint, you hide them. But yeah, I honestly think that's like the auto include for this detachment. I think the other one's pretty strong. I think if you've got points, you probably take them both if you are going to go spamming Terminators. But I think the uppy downy you put in first, and I think you make the space for the points as well.
Okay, I'm going to counterpoint this in a crazy way. Everyone's looking at... Okay, you take Infiltrating Poxwalkers, okay? Your opponent goes first, but you play kind of safe with them, or you take Chaos Ball. You actually put this enhancement on your back wall if you go second on a 10-man Blight Lord brick, and you pick it up and you deep strike it turn 1 if you go second because you bet the Affliction for it, and you just blast something off the table, and you have an instant brick in your opponent's face. And then in their turn, after the movement, you rapid ingress a second squad of Death Shroud somewhere in. So they have 2 huge bricks. And I don't think bricks are the play because they're too expensive in Death Guard. But it's very funny to just be like,
I love it.
Whoop, here's 10 Blight Lords right in your face straight off the bat.
Just a second row.
It's some Blight Lords.
And Blight Lords just like, boom.
Yeah,
thought those Poxwalkers were annoying, did you, that were in front of you?
Yeah, or you could use them to drop down.
Whoops, here's some Terminators.
Yeah. Like you could have Blight Lords come down, shoot a bunch of units off the board, and then just pick them up and just drop them back down somewhere else and shoot away again. Like, I actually think this is overlooked on the effects. Like, it's really good on Death Trail, but I think this can actually really also be good on Blight Lords as well. So then we go into the last enhancement, the Helm of the Fly King, load up 18.
It's not bad. I honestly think it's good again. Like it's straight up. Like you can use it. It's useful. I think of the 3, this is the one where you probably add it in last. But at the same time, maybe depends what your build is. Does it? If you've gone all MSU and you don't have a big brick, being this on your expansion and then sort of knowing that you can maybe stand out in the open and kind of shoot without returning fire if you've killed what was in 18, knowing when the movement is. I think this one's good, but I think the other 2 are better for me.
The funny thing is that Terminators want to be in combat or closer, right, to your opponent, or if your opponent's coming close to you, you want them with you. So I think this has got limited time where it's useful. It is kind of good for, of course, the LAV is probably with some BLTs is probably if you're slogging them up the table, but. Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is a nice one to have, and it's cool, and we haven't had a lot of it, but I'm not crazy excited about it yet. There's probably a better place to put it, but we haven't looked at it yet.
If you've got 20 points left, it's a great enhancement to buy for 20 points.
Yeah.
like you say, you probably want that 20 points to like make a unit something else. Do you know what I mean?
This
to like
this
get
is
a better unit in.
this is the one enhancement I wish could go on any character.
Yes,
Because
yeah.
I would happily
Yes.
have this on like a cheap like Foul Blight spawn
100%.
in a ruin with 5 Plague Marines just to hold it. That'll do me. That'll do me all day.
On my tally man, on home.
Well, they have to be leading. They have to be leading. Although it'd be really fun to have load up Poxwalk because that'd be hilarious. But
That would be brilliant. Yeah.
I really wish Typhus wasn't a named character. Sometimes looking at some of these things, I keep seeing something that'd be amazing on Typhus. Being like, you can't put him on Typhus.
So we'll go into this stratagem. So first one is a nice and simple one. 1 CP, start of any phase, which is actually quite interesting, Dave.
Yes, it is.
Pick a Terminator unit from your army, add 3 inches to contagion. Why is it interesting that it's any phase, Dave?
What's really interesting about this is any phase includes your opponent's command phase. So at the start of your opponent's command phase, when your opponent has been clever and has left themselves outside of 9 of your Terminators, maybe on the middle or, whatever, and and you just go, okay, well, I'm going to now pop this, and now you're inside there. Now, they also could have spent for Insane Bravery, we just talked about, on their on a single model, maybe left in turn 5 that's just out of range of your guys. And then you get that 7-up chance, because if you've got one model on there, there's a good chance it's below half strength or a 6-up. You've got that chance to just delete that unit, and they've wasted a CP and lost control of the middle or any objective on the table. It's a really interesting one to just do that. The other thing it can do is you can do it in any phase. So you might drop down your Death Shroud, and they are your opponent's kind of outside of 9. You've got your 12-inch flamers, but they are within 12. You could pop it, and then basically for, if you want to shoot next turn, or you've got another unit wants to shoot, you can put them into contagion and then get the benefits. So actually quite a good one.
Yeah. So
and I should say all strats are 1 CP in this detachment as well.
Yeah, and also let's not forget, you can obviously also just use it in the shooting phase to put something in contagion, shoot it away. Or in the movement phase, you can add 6, get something within contagion, now you can drop Death Shroud in. And
Plague Bus coming on from reserves, and then being like, cool, 12-inch contagion range.
Well, it has to go on Terminator. You can't do it on Plague Bus.
Yeah. But it was like if you could have anything that coming on from reserve. Sorry, what I'm kind of getting at is that you can then just kind of bring it on and go. Okay, nice.
Yeah. Being able to 6-inch deep strike Death Shroud on turn 2, and then use it on them in the shooting phase to put the unit they're going to flame in contagion, cool. And you can flame away. It's good. It's real good strategy.
And also that unit could be further up the field, putting a unit into contagion that the rest of your army can then benefit from.
Yes, exactly. So then we've got Signal Pox. So this is again your command phase. Needs a lot of virulence. Select an objective marker within 30 that he can see. Every enemy unit within the range of that objective marker is now afflicted.
Until the start of your next turn as well.
Which it obviously includes the opponent's command phase, so anything that stands on that objective is going to have to roll for mortal wounds. But it's also it's a bit like Mortari's Hammer, but instead of picking a unit, you're picking an objective.
You pick an objective. Now, what is interesting here, and Mike and I discussed this extensively, is it says it's got to be a visible objective marker, I believe.
Yes.
So if the opponent, this is a really interesting one. If your opponent technically rings the objective marker with bases, base to base to base to base, touching all the way round, can you see the objective marker?
I'd say yeah, because you go from the top of the model downwards at an angle. I don't think
it's a 5-inch cylinder, imaginary cylinder. The thing that I think that people will get caught out with, though, you have to remember only the puck is the objective marker. People will see the 3-inch.
It's not the range around it.
I think that'll catch people out, and some people will be like, "But you're on the objective." Be like, "No, I'm within 3 of the objective. I'm not on the objective. The objective is behind the wall." I think that'll come up, but I think it's good. I think it's solid. It's situational, of course, but I think
the middle is always going to be pretty much visible. So
yeah,
especially on hidden supplies where there's 2, especially for UKTT.
Yeah, I think it's good.
It's free damage in it. It's free damage. Free ways to spread affliction, which is one of the most important things for Death Guard. So it's good. We've got Grim Reapers.
Sorry, Digger just said, can you use Uppy Downy on a Land Raider?
Unfortunately not. No, that would be pretty good.
Actually not.
Mr. Asapangle and Mora, thank you very much for coming Plague Marines again. Really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
So next up, we've got the Grim Reapers. 1 CP in the fight phase. Pick a Terminator unit from your army. Reroll hit rolls as long as you're not swinging at monsters and vehicles. Blight Lords love this because weapon skill 3 is unreliable sometimes, especially when you've got 3 attacks each. Death Shroud need this less so, but it does let you fish for lethal sustained if you've got a lot of contagion, which is good.
If you're going into something like Elstaff, Custodes, like a big unit of like, I don't know, Deathwing or Terminators or Inner Circle or something, actually getting lethal sustained Lance out of it, like it probably is worth fishing to try and finish off a unit, especially if you're rolling, if something's got -1 damage and you can't do anything about that, you might go to the sweep profile with the Death Shroud with 8 attacks each and then suddenly be fishing.
Yep.
I think the biggest letdown about this stratagem is the exclusion of monsters and vehicles, because to me
fish for
this
lethals.
should be for when you're fighting a monster vehicles and you want to go fishing for those 6s, like, and I don't think that would have been any game unbalanced problem either. Like, I think that is a huge why moment.
Yeah, but they've done it for
why
6. They've done it because of 6 and the Lord of Contagion. Because it guarantees Lance sustained lethal full rerolls into any knight, any land raider, any character, any Primarch dies. Guaranteed.
Yeah, but why is that different from, say, like a really expensive character attached to a really expensive bodyguard unit? Why does the bodyguard unit character, which you're already probably killing easily, why does it mean like, right, I'm going to spend the CP makes there's absolutely no chance of living?
I think
whereas that knight thing, I don't know.
I know, Will, you're totally right, but I think what they've just done it for is it's so that there's the feel bads. So it's like, oh, I'm running my my Imperial Knights and I've got one big knight and some Terminators just chopped it in half. Oh, I'm running Fulgrim, I've just lost Fulgrim, or I'm running whatever it is. I think
But
that
if they're going to do that, then they need to look at oath and things like that. That's right. I mean, it's a wider thing. For me, I would rather that was 2 CP and it didn't have the exclusion of vehicles and monsters. That's fair. If that's what they're worried about. But I mean, this is a gripe in What an Amazing Book. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is one of those proper third world problems again. Do you know what I mean? It's like, our rules are good, but they're not perfect. So yeah.
So what do you guys think? What do you guys think for 1 CP of Mortarian's teachings? In the shooting phase,
it is good.
You get assault and heavy. It's good, right?
It's good.
I use this in the game versus Ben. Right, I had those Terminators at the top. He bought on some Fire Dragons from reserve. I moved, advanced my Terminators, and then flamed them.
Yeah, really good. I also like this with the enhancement for the reroll advanced rolls and +1 move.
Yeah,
because
really
now
cool.
you move 6, got a good chance you get a good advanced roll, and you still you don't give up your firepower. So
yeah, perfect.
Again, we don't need to go into much detail. Assault is good. Heavy, you're probably not really going to use that often. I'll be honest with you, but it's there. It's there. Undying Spite, 4-up fight on death. You have Mortarian as well for a 2-up fight on death.
Two places to fight on death.
Yeah.
Amazing.
This one is cracked for 1 CP. It's the 1 CP in this one. This is the one. If they were going to do 2 CP, when I read that, I was like, oh, 2 CP fight on death, and I thought it was 1 CP. I was like, 1 CP fight on death, yes. I know you're going to roll the 4+, which is annoying, but for 1 CP, it's the cost of doing it. But yeah.
Yeah. So. No. So we're like, let's say you have let's say we have our some Terminators, right, with the Lord of Contagion. Let's say it's a 3-man Death Guard or whatever, and or he's eating Oreos. So models are destroyed, 4-up fight on death, and then stand back up on a 2-up on a Lord of Contagion.
Pretty funny.
But the Lord of Contagion stands at the end of the phase, not in combat though, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. Oh, you mean like he gets to fight and stand back up? Is that what you mean? Because he still died. Right, I see what you're saying, yeah.
So model is destroyed, spend a strat for fight on death, roll a 4-up, fight on death, model is destroyed, on a 2-up, stands back up.
I think it's good. I mean, I think the 1 CP strat on this is amazing. I think if this was a 2 CP strat, we'd still say it was a really good strat. Is my take on this one. It's a shame it's on a 4+ and it's not just fight on death. But then it would have to be 2, if not 3 CP for that. So yeah, I think it's really good, this one. I think this one you're going to use multiple times a game, maybe every other fight phase. I think you might use this.
Everyone asking me if these are cheese Oreos. No, like double cream Oreos.
That's also a disgusting idea.
I don't know, yeah.
Like I like cheese and
yeah. It turns out fighting on death is a very good rule to have. So,
it does, yeah.
No surprise
there. The only thing.
Go on, Will, sorry.
The only thing is you can't. which is the same with all fight first death. It would be better if you could decide at the end of all the saves if you're going to spend the CP to do this. But then we're back to like perfect rules, and that strat never works that way in any of the book. Like if I was with that, would be so busted if you could like, all right, okay, I'll wait and see how many you kill, and then I'll decide if I spend the CP.
Fight on death is on the bingo card, is it?
It is. I believe so.
Oh, is it?
Might be. I'll have a check.
Okay. You have a look at that, and I'll just read the. I think the final one we've got is sickening impact. So stank shock with terminators, and so basically you end your charge move, and then you can pop this strat. And for every model that's in engagement range, so not 2 rows, but everyone that's in engagement range on a 2-up, you're doing mortal wounds to a max. Excuse me. Sorry. To a maximum of 6. Sorry, that was terrible. I apologise. To a maximum of 6. That is really, really good. And Aiden, would you like to share your little what happens if Typhus is with some Poxwalkers?
Oh yeah, if Typhus is leading Poxwalkers, the unit has the Terminator keyword, which means Poxwalkers can use this stratagem. So you can basically just run into something, just auto do 6 mortal wounds, which I try. So you can literally arrive, smite something, d6 mortal wounds, charge flat 6 mortal wounds, and fuck off out of here. It's so funny. Just
and
look
then
at
be in combat
like,
with 20 Poxwalkers with whatever you've got left.
Yeah, my favourite thing is that you look at someone like Gilliman and you just fucking one-tap him with a bunch of Poxwalkers going, woo! And just running at the dude.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd take that in this building? So obviously we've gone through the strats. I feel like that would actually make sense to take 20 Poxwalkers in.
I would take Poxwalkers with.
Yeah.
I would take Poxwalkers in this build because I want infiltrate. I want to get.
Oh no, I mean specifically the 20 Poxwalkers in Typhus package.
Not for this. Not for the
don't
strat.
think you would? Not for the strat, but no, in this detachment.
I know you would, Aiden.
Because obviously it's a cheaper unit than all the things. It's a nice.
I would, because you also have access to the reroll all hits. And that was the problem with Poxwalkers, they hit on 5s. But now you can hit on 5s with full rerolls, which isn't bad.
I think it's a good thing to come up the middle and draw their army out with, is what I mean. Like I just wonder, and then Typhus is still he's still just there, probably living at the end of it, and then at that point, a lot of Terminators are presumably standing behind him to come and.
Also,
I don't know.
The unit of 20 Pox and Typhus, it also makes great use of the +3-inch contagion range, because that is a massive unit, which is really funny. So I really enjoy the fact that you can just run into somebody and go bop and just tank shock some Poxwalkers, because nothing is more lethal than apparently zombies running at you, which is really funny.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Tell you what, before we move on to the top, well, I don't know. We'll have a discussion if we're going to continue with another one or kind of save that for the next stream. But I haven't looked at this one to list build at all, so I'll abstain from this one. But you guys, because the Mortarians Anvil, the list kind of writes itself after a certain point. You know what you put in it. Mm-hmm. This one, I think there is a bit of flavour. Do you think you're all Terminators, or do you mix in? How do you guys like? What would be a rough archetype that you guys would think to someone who wanted to run this? Like, throw out some units that you think would kind of like synergize as a good core for this, outside of the obvious of like 3 squads of 3 Death Shroud and whatever. Because I think this one seems to be like a bit of flavour. So because I haven't even looked at this one yet. I'm still focusing on the other one. So you guys sort of. I'll
add a couple of things, and then I'll add a couple of things. But you definitely want a couple of heavy blight launcher drones in here, because if the heavy blight launcher drone destroys a unit, then you spread affliction based on a dice roll afterwards, but to everything within 6. So that's quite good with kind of flat 3 damage, and you want things to be afflicted. That could give you things like 6-inch deep strike, or could give you mortal wounds. You do definitely want some Poxwalkers, because you need to be basically protecting your deployment zone, and also then kind of having an option to infiltrate onto a point and not be using Terminators for that kind of stuff. So if you are going to be running this detachment, those are some bits you want in there. You could be running 3 3s or a 6. I will always run a 6 and a Lord of Contagion, because that thing is just the ultimate hammer in the game for me, and can kill whatever it needs to. But yeah, Typhus is definitely in there for mortal wounds. A Tallyman is probably kicking around near your home. I think for 40 points, getting extra CP for the ability to fight on death, for the ability to do extra 3-inch contagion. A lot of the stratagems in here are quite useful for it, so I think you are going to want to be running those. But Aiden, do you want to add some bits to that?
For me, like that Dave said, 3 heavy blow drones, because you kind of want a lot of rollers anyway, and they just go so well with it. 2 pathetic blight haulers to me, you could push it to 3. 3 squads of Poxwalkers just so you can have some early contagion actiony things, and then go fucking nuts on the Terminators. It's like just like at that point, like Morty's a question. If you take Morty, you probably like drop the haulers to help you out with the points there. But if you don't take the haulers, so you don't take Morty, then yeah, just having that nice little like literally 390 points is going to be like so solid in every list for Lord Drones and 3 Blow Drones. They are just stupid. They are very stupid. Every list of mine starts with that package because it is just dumb. So I can see that being quite common. But again, I also like two Mathetics right now. 2 Mathetics, love them. Those things are overlooked at the moment. I'm sorry, those things are great.
They're very overlooked. I totally agree with you. I think the good thing about having Morty in the mix is he's very expensive now, but he is a lot better now. But what is interesting is the fact that he can help your Terminators chase people, which is quite amusing on the reactive, which is nice. Plus, he's another source of mortal wounds, which is very cool, and another source of fight on death. So actually throwing Morty out into the middle with Terminators around him is a very nasty problem for your opponent to deal with. But it's a huge point sink, so plan it properly. I mean, like I said, I'm not saying I've got the list down for this yet, but that's why But I love Terminators. I've got as many as I can possibly run in all different configurations for Blightlords. So I am going to work out what the best thing to run on this is, and that's my first mission in this book.
Yeah, very quickly, just to answer a question in chat. So Maxwell, yes, in the stream game on VT, I accidentally did move a Rhino, disembark, shoot, and charge. No, you can't do that. The reason it wasn't pointed out by the panel was because I could have easily just got out my Rhino, walked there, still been in 12 to shoot, and then charge. And the weird thing is, like, when you're playing on stream, you're not just, like, thinking about, especially VT streams, it's not a competitive game. You're thinking about trying to be entertaining. You think about trying to watch my language, especially for me, that's a big problem. So it was just a silly mistake. So, no, you can't do that. Just be aware. But silly mistakes happen. I apologise.
Yeah. don't worry about it. I did the same thing where there was a couple of times where Ben and I just went, oh, yeah, well, that's -1 to hit when it wasn't in contagion range. And it didn't change what was going on in the game. But as Aiden said with things, you kind of just talk about bits like we also had a bit where Ben picked up a unit of Scorpions because when the panel were talking off camera, we were like, oh, well, the Blight Drone is just going to shoot them next, so we won't roll that because they're just 1 wound and it's got blast and everything else into it.
That's fair. Yeah. So where do we see this competitively, though? Do we? I think this one. So if I'm being brutally honest, this is probably on the lower ring of power.
Probably.
I still think it's. So if we look at other codexes, a lot of other codexes don't have detachments that are just like unplayable, like Death Company, Blood Angels, unplayable. The Sanguinary Guard one, not the Christmas one, the other one, kind of unplayable. Like they have 2 choices. They have Angelic Inheritors and Liberator Assault Group. Part of that, everything else is kind of dog shit. For us, I think they're all genuinely playable. This can smash an RTT. I genuinely believe that. Totally. Where this is going to struggle is at the bigger events, getting that 5th win. I mean, my goal is to get a 4-1 with every single one of these attachments for the year coming. So I think it can be done with this. I just think you're going to struggle to get that 5th game. I think it's just not as good as some of the other attachments, but it's more than viable. If you look at this attachment, you can 100% focus on getting this attachment, mastering it, taking it to events, and doing the best you can with it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, like I said, this is the one I've looked at the least. Probably backing what you said also because I don't know. I think it's strong, but I think the other ones are stronger. And as much as the rules are very flavoursome here, I think if you're going to just look at flavoursome rules, I think 2 of the ones we haven't covered are the most flavoursome. Like I said, I think more Tyrant's Hammer, as we alluded to before, I think it's strong because you just play a simple Warhammer and opens up good bits of the game. It's not very exciting though, and for people who are looking for that excitement and lots of flavour, I completely see that. And I think this has definitely got more flavour, but I think it doesn't have the same raw power. Where
this one is going to struggle, and I say this being the one I'm going to be playing probably a fair bit just because I love it and I want to make it work from places. It's just going to struggle with scoring at a point. If you lose the non-terminated bits, you never want to be using those terminators to score points, and that's what you just at a point versus a really good opponent could end up happening.
Also, very quickly, Maxwell, just very quickly, Will, sorry. Maxwell, don't worry, I didn't think you were being confrontational. The other reason I explained myself is because it was a really fucking dumb mistake.
Oh, no, dude, don't worry.
Don't think we're being confrontational. We don't want to take it that way. You're good, mate, you're good. Go on, Will.
Do we want to just call out really quickly before you do that? Molyneux said, can you explain why Typhus does that with Poxwalkers?
Yeah, because when he joins the Poxwalker unit, the unit gains the Terminator keyword, and the stratagem doesn't specify terminating models, it specifies terminating units, so at that point it does qualify for that, therefore I can use all the stratagems.
And Will, could you give me a Nurgling shake, please? For 19 Connor 9, welcome to being a Plague Marine. Thanks, guys.
So the thing I was going to say, because I think we're going to start wrapping up now, aren't we? And then we'll come back to detachments in the next stream, which I think is going to be Saturday. Is that right, guys? We're going to do Saturday evening again? Or are we going to do something on Tuesday?
We'll figure it out between us.
Saturday or Sunday, yeah.
We'll come back.
We'll do weekend. Yeah.
That wasn't what I was going to say. So I know you know, people have got dinner plans and stuff, but I think one of this detachment is the prime example of a couple of things that I wanted to ask. What are people using to hold their expansion objective? Is there a unit that like kind of like a little package or a little unit? Because I think this detachment is a prime example, as you alluded to, Dave. It's a lot of expensive units if you build it. What would you use? Not necessarily for this detachment, just in general. Is there a little package or a little? Because I think that's a good thing just to sort of throw in as a bit of list building, round that off nicely, then we can go into the outro a bit. So who wants to start with that? Do you want to go?
I think that's actually quite a big question.
Okay.
I think you. But what I would say is, I think you're absolutely right. You have to think about how you're going to be scoring bits or luring your opponent out into places without using your really expensive models. So, I personally would say I think we'll come back on that one because I think we only got like kind of around 4 minutes. So, but if you guys have got a clear answer, please jump in.
I am a smart brain and I play Virulent Vectorium. I don't need to hold my fucking objective.
Aiden doesn't worry about that.
I'm going to stick it and leave it. But yeah, it is a big question. So we'll come back to that. But yeah, I like just Chaos Spawn because I'm sticky as well. So I'm just going to use some pops to screen out the area roughly. Spawn are great. But yeah, you can always put like 5 Marines on it. What I'll say, because obviously we kind of wanted to try and cover at least 3 tonight. We only covered 2 detachments. Which I apologize for, but I hope you guys also understand, like, this is why we make this channel, because we don't just do, this is cool, the end. Like, we managed to have, like, full-on discussions for, like, we've had, like, literally a 40-minute discussion on both of 2 detachments, and we hope that's the thing you don't get on other channels. They'll just kind of read it to you and be like, that's good, that's not good, the end, move on, why. We like to get into it and discuss it, so I hope you guys don't mind that. So I will update the title of the stream to be, like, Death Lord's Chosen and Morty's Hammer. The next stream we'll cover another 2, probably. We'll just keep it realistic. So it will probably take us a while to get through, but we are doing 2 streams a week at the moment if we can get one on weekend. Normally, we just do the one on Tuesdays and I do one solo on Sundays. Go on, Dave.
And all of you, be realistic. You need stuff to listen to while you're painting. So just accept it and be happy.
That is true. So please do forgive us for not getting through them all tonight. Again, we just get so caught. We're so passionate about the album. We just have these crazy ideas. We want to talk about stuff. Will wants to have his controversial take here and there. Dave wants to talk about how good Terminators are. I just want to sit here and rub my COC. So I hope you
just
guys
want to play with his COC.
Yeah, so I just want to play with my COC. So I hope you don't do that. The only thing I mind is Aiden editing the cameras to make himself look taller. Sorry, it's the trick of the trade that I learned that one. So yeah, we'll wrap up sort of now then. So anything you guys want to sort of leave on before we head off? If anyone's doing hobby at the moment, make sure you post in the hobby channel on the Discord as well. I'm currently working on 2 blow drones with the heavy blight launchers, trying to get them all finished up in time for the team's tournament that I'll probably be facing Will in at some point. I'm trying to try and get into an RTT before that to want my list as well. That would be quite nice. So yes.
No, I was just all I was going to add just before we do just talk about any our partners and people we're working with is just remember that inside the Discord there is now detachment discussions at the bottom. The guys have created, and thank you Nat for adminning it all. There are 7 chats for you guys to get into. In those, just stick to talking about those. You've got 1 for each. You can talk about lists, you can talk about models, talk about tactics, talk about combos. Just make use of it because it is there and it's new and not everyone may have looked at it.
Yeah. And anything for yourself, Will?
No, I think just the usual. Like and subscribe. I mean, we're kind of clocked short on time now because Peter got things to do. So we'll just run through the things rather than tee them up. So we are affiliate with Element Games. We have a affiliate link in the description of the channel and most videos. If you buy anything, you buy the new Codex. Obviously, it comes out on Saturday. If you haven't already got yours, the Army Box, anything else, even hobby paints, things like that. use that link. Doesn't cost any more. We get a little kickback to the channel. There's also Saltire Games. They're an affiliate. They have some Discussing Resilient branded gaming tools. You know, measuring sticks. Do you have objective markers, Aiden, or?
We do have objective not objective marker mats, no. And maybe that's something we could look at though. That'd be cool.
And then we also have Baron of Dice. Do we have any dice in stock at the moment, Dave?
I put an update into the merch channel earlier. I had a chat with Baron of Dice last night. They are now going to be fully back in stock it's going to be early June, but he's promised me they will not run out again from then. And there is a potential solution for some affliction markers with those guys, which in conjunction with us, which we are just, there was a very early discussion I'm going to talk to Aiden and Will about, see if it's something we want to do. But yeah, those guys are working hard to kind of get that back in. And once they're in, he's promised me they won't be out again.
And two more things. One of them will flick to these two because these two do it directly. But before we do that, if you like the look of Dave's hoodie, Peter might not have noticed or may have noticed he's rocking the Discussing Resilient podcast branding. You can also
DRP.
and the cups as well. You can have a cup or a hoodie just like Dave. Where's the link for that, Dave? Tell them more about that, and then tell about the coaching that you guys do with Vanguard Tactics.
Yeah, I'll pass over to Aiden on that one, but just quickly, it should be in the chat down below, but just go to drpstore.com. The hoodie that I'm wearing is the same one that's on the store. Aiden and I both were wearing them on stream. Same as the t-shirts we were wearing, available on the Vanguard Tactics streams. And there's other little things like mugs, stickers, there's iPhone holders, all that kind of stuff, just with our brand on. It's just great to see the brand out there. So if you guys do fancy doing that, it's all manufactured by a third-party company, and they ship it straight to you. It's not held by us, and we see a little bit from that. So, but mostly we just want to see people out there repping DRP, so you can there. Aiden, where can people get some Death Guard coaching?
Yeah, so if you want to get some coaching, there is one-to-one sessions from Vanguard Tactics in the description below. You can also check out the Masterclass series. I believe they're still running the 2-for-1 offer. It might be coming to an end for the Death Guard and World Eaters Masterclass.
Yeah, it comes in a couple of days, I think.
Yeah, so you can still grab that while you want. If you go for our affiliate link in our description below, we get a bit of kickback as well, which is really nice because we did help make the Death Guard Masterclass. So you will see me and Dave a lot on that video. And yes, everyone in fucking chat, I can see the goddamn cheese comments. After all the content is out, so again, right now you're going to get at least a stream or a video every single day going forward for like the next 2 weeks until the content is covered. So after that, after I have cleared all that away, you will get your goddamn cheese stream. Now tomorrow's video might be going a bit later because I have a driving lesson tomorrow. I'm getting in the car, people, so I will hope to be able to get to more events and whatnot. So it will be probably later in the evening, whereas we previously been in the mornings, but that's because it was weekend and bank holiday, etc. So, but you will get a video tomorrow, so look forward to that. For now, though, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for everyone that's been amazing. 270 consistent viewers as well. That is amazing. Absolutely fantastic. Subscribers are through the goddamn roof at the moment. I'm so happy.
Before we go, there you go. Dave got there first. Like and subscribe, guys. We know there's a lot of new people. Like and subscribe and comment as well. Obviously, we know you've been chatting in there, but also comment on the video. Something you want to see next, anything you think we missed, let us know, and that also helps the YouTube recommend us to other people as well. And thanks again.
Share the channel with your friends, and hit the bell icon as well, so you get notifications of when the videos are out. Because Aiden is dropping a video a day on a detachment, on characters, on ways to play. Stay up to date with us.
Excellent. And thank you very much, Don, for the $3.33 super chat. Teach me Aiden and the $7.77. Looking sharp like cheddar Aiden when his cheese stream. I hopefully just answered that one for you. But thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you all for now. Leave you some Death Guard tune on the way out. But we'll see you all very soon. Take care. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Laters.
In the void, where the warp winds howl, a fleet once noble, now destined to fall. Great wardens stir, betrayal takes shape, Typhon's whispers, sealing their fate. Navigators lost to the shadowed lie, a fleet adrift beneath a darkened sky. The warp's cruel grasp, unyielding and tight, chaos awaits in the endless night. Whispers of power, a pestilent tide, Mortarian's pride, with nowhere to hide. The destroyer plague a grim reward. Nurgle's laughter echoes aboard. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The Death Guard transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Tearing stands, his sons by his side. Through agony storm, their oaths collide. Grandfather's hand, the pact is sealed. The Legion reborn, their fate revealed. Lies in the armor, rot in the soul. A Primarch remade, his heart grown cold. In terror shadow, their war drums beat. Pestilent warriors, no chance of retreat. Through breach and ruin, their banners fly. With death's embrace, they'll never die. The Lion's Gate, where hope was torn. Jagged eyes, blade meets the Plague-born. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The Death Guard transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Typhus herald, chaos born, Mortarian's wrath, the plague sworn. In the warp, their legacy thrives, eternal servants where corruption lies. Mortarians fall, Typhus ascends, the Death Guard song, it never ends.